Really, really disciplined, is the key. And really knowing the situations, situational awareness, football awareness, rules awareness.
Good afternoon, everybody. That was Jim Harbaugh about an hour ago down in Ann Arbor. He was asked what goes into not committing any penalties in a game. That's what the coach had to say. A former coach himself and a former player at Michigan joins us like he does every Monday throughout the football season. And that's Jim Scarcelli, who joins us. Hey, Scar, what's going on?
Yeah, hey, everything's good, man. And that is a great accomplishment. It's so hard to do, man, especially if you're offensively, if you're changing snap counts. If you go on the same snap count all year, okay, that's one thing. And then, holding and off, it's just a great accomplishment. And defensively too, not being offsides and pass interference and things are really good, man. We're 5-0. Winning, got a road win. They've done good. They did a good job against Minnesota. They did a good job at Colorado without all the turnovers. So, I don't know how good or bad Nebraska is, but one of the biggest things I wanted to see that I felt good about, Denny, was just seeing Tuttle in there at the end. And he looked pretty good. He runs around. He threw some good balls. So I want to know who our backup quarterback is. I've been beating that up, and I feel good about it. So I feel real good about our depth and where we're at.
Well, that's good that you feel that way. We're going to look at the rest of the Big Ten games, anything that jumped out. We'll ask Scar his opinion on that. As always, Jim has pulled some plays out from Saturday's game that he wants to show us some things. We can learn something, be entertained by some other things. But, yeah, you just gave your thoughts on the game on Saturday. And, it shouldn't come as a surprise to Michigan football fans, but, you hear culture all the time when it comes down to football programs, pro, college, anywhere. And what Michigan did in 2021 and 2022, I was listening to Harbaugh today. He couldn't have been any more complimentary to his players and how they practice, how they played on Saturday, how they're just going through their routines. Braden McGregor was there. Zach Zinter was there today. And all of those guys, I mean, they're talking about how they've raised the level and everything that they're doing. So this team knows what the goal is at the end. And, fans, you're just excited every week to watch them play. But if the way that they're practicing, the way that they have the outlook for this season, I think, I don't think anybody is discouraged about it. Of course, there's going to be a little ebbs and flows, but I think everybody should feel fantastic about this football team and the product that they're putting out on the field.
Yeah, how a team practices, it's all a reflection of the leader. I mean, you get what you emphasize, you get what you tolerate. If you demand, everybody's on time, everybody's paying attention in meetings, and you're hustling, everything's high intensity from your assistant coaches. That all trickles down, man. You put the demands on your assistant coaches, and you're going to have a great practices and great preparation if the leader demands it. And Jim's worked under some great coaches, man. So he knows what the heck he's doing. And again, I've said it many times. Jim will have our team ready for East Carolina, for UNLV, for Michigan State. You got to get ready to play every week, and Jim does a good job of that as a leader.
Yeah, and now that you've had 48 hours or so to think about that game, anything else? It was an impressive showing for number 2 Michigan as they roll 45-7. They're out 45-0, but you can pretty much just go through and check out through all the boxes. I mean, every unit, every player. I mean, it was a hell of a game, for a hell of a showing by Michigan.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, our guards and centers are real solid. We're getting great play from those three. We had the new tackle in there, and this was his first start, Henderson. So I think if he's going to be the guy, I don't know what Hinton's injury situation is, whatever, but let's be patient with Henderson. It was his first start. He's been sitting on the bench for 5 weeks. He'll get better. He did some good things. Barnhart's solid. Running backs are solid. Secure the football. Good tight end play. Throw it around to a lot of people again. Good scheming by our offensive coaches. I like the scheming. I thought we really took advantage of what they did on defense and exploited them. Made it hard for them, regardless of talent. And that's what I like seeing. Guys that help your players regardless of talent. And then defensively, we did a lot of good things, man. I was concerned with the option, a big time concerned with the option. And Minter knows what he's doing. His old man's an old school guy, and he's on that staff. And he was around when a lot of people were running option. So he knew how to defend it. And, a couple good fourth down stops and, a lot of good things on defense. Our edge players really had good games. Bunch of them had sacks. So it was overall, we made all our extra points. We made a field goal and, just a real good complete game and got good. Again, we got a lot of young quarterbacks in there. A lot of guys played. Everybody on that plane played. So I have to believe everybody got on that plane. And Denny, that does so much for your week of practice when you get a bunch of guys that play, because they're just, they're part of it, man. They got a couple snaps, man. Their attitude is better. Because I've been that guy that didn't sniff, didn't play, and it's tough. And then when you get a couple crumbs thrown at you, man, you're just a different guy in practice. Even if it's just a few plays, that, hey, man, you got a chance.
We'll look at some film. We'll talk about what else is going on in the Big Ten. You got a question? You want to fill it up with some feedback? Go ahead. We'll answer that live during the show. Scar's here. He'll entertain your questions, whatever you're thinking about. Michigan has been, especially here in the Big Ten, really good. The third down defense, really good. Fourth down defense, all good things that you're looking for here. Antoine mentioning Donovan Edwards says he better get with it because I want to see more of Mullings at this point. Donovan's still running soft, tiptoeing and running soft. What do you think about that?
Donovan Edwards is really the same player he's been for 3 years. I think he is what he is. He has his strengths. He has his weaknesses. And the coaches are saying, you know what? Donovan's good when we come out empty. We motion him out. We got to run him a little bit in the backfield. But he's going to do things that Corum and Mullings can't do when we spread him out and we go empty. In fact, Antoine, Denny, I told you, I was going to real quickly review some things real quickly. Strengths and weaknesses of putting Donovan in the game with Corum. Okay, real quick.
All right.
Here's the strengths. When Donovan's in the game with Corum, a defense always has to be concerned with who's going to cover him if they shift to empty or if they wheel him out on the wheel route. You know what I mean? You can't put no big, slow linebacker on him. Okay, so if Donovan's in the game and I'm coaching defense against Michigan, I always got to be concerned with who's going to cover this guy on wheel routes, if they shift to empty, and those kind of things. Also, when Donovan's in the game, he could throw the football. He's shown that in the past. So those are some strengths when Donovan's in the football game, and he is what he is, what we see as a running back. We'll just leave it at that. The weaknesses, though, if he's in the game with Corum, Denny, I know that Donovan Edwards isn't going to be a blocker, a lead blocker. You know what I mean? If they're both in the game. So defensively, they're going to be only one-handed. Maybe Corum will block. So that is something that makes it easy for me. Now, if you put Mullings in the game with Corum, now either side can lead on a linebacker. I'd feel confident we're running some of our isolation plays or some of our plays where we ask our plays to block. But Mullings doesn't give you the pass threat that Edwards will give you. So I think as a coach, you got 3 guys there now. I think we're going to see a real good distribution. Now, Mullings proved it Saturday. We're going to see a good distribution of those 3. And maybe Donovan won't be used so much in the backfield. He'll be shifting out more and select carries. But, Antoine, it is what it is with him. And he has to have a play cleaner blocked than the other 2 guys, period. It's just the way it is. He's a little easier, it appears to be brought down opposed to the other 2 guys who, you better put a shoulder pad on.
Yeah, what I've seen from Donovan Edwards, I would be if I was a Michigan fan. They're to this point, and yeah, he hasn't played his best football. Donovan Edwards is one of the best weapons in all of college football, so don't be down on him, Michigan fans. And you saw what he was able to do last year. He can make the first guy miss. Obviously, he has that home run ability, and so figuring out the best way to get him the ball and utilize him. I know by last year you go back and watch all of his carries in the non-conference. I haven't charted all of them. I have all the games on tape. There was a concerted effort by Michigan and Donovan Edwards to say, I am running between the tackles. I can pick up short yardage. I can put both arms, and I can get those tough yards. Now, he hasn't done that this year, and the numbers speak for themselves, as Scar is saying here. But you want to look and think about how you end up winning it all. You got a guy like Donovan Edwards. The other team, sure, they're putting number 2 down there. They're talking about, hey, Mullings, he's a real load. They are keeping, I can promise you this, Scar and everybody watching, they are putting number 7 on the board. They're saying we need to keep an eye on this guy because he is a game breaker and he is a game changer. I'm not down on Donovan Edwards at all. Scar, you said on Saturday, you thought he ran hard. Harbaugh, after the game, talked about how hard that he's run. He's also mentioned that he's a willing blocker. And I know that Mike Hart emphasizes that. And if you're going to play running back at Michigan, you have to block. Now, I know that he's missed some assignments, and I don't know if what's going on there. But I think when you have Mullings running like he does and how he did on Saturday, I don't know if that's going to light a fire, but when you have that competition, yeah, you're going to get some more carries for Khalil Mullings. He has earned it with the spotlight on in the game. So to me, that's going to be the pressure that is going to elevate Donovan Edwards. And, he's going to be, I think he's going to be okay. You want Donovan Edwards. So this talk about you're talking about he's tiptoeing. Hey, he's going to tiptoe all the way to the end zone, Antoine, by making guys miss and being the kind of player that he is. You want every guy to sit over there and act like they're Biaka Matuka with their feet and dancing on pillows and everything else. This guy can take it to the house at any time, and every team in the country wants a player like this on his team. So go ahead, knock him if you want. He's going to be.
Denny, there's nothing wrong with 3, man. I mean, we played the Buckeyes with, our best running back didn't play, and Donovan had a cast on his hand. So you better have 3, 4 ready. So it's all good having depth like that. I'm going back in the day with 2 guys that could both carry the ball that were in the game all the time, Stanley Edwards and Butch Woolfolk. This is back in the day, but they could both carry the football, and Stan was the fullback, but he got a lot of carries in there. So, let's. I'm kind of agreeing with Coach that he is showing a little more physicalness than he has in the past. But it's not like Mullins and it's not like Corum. That's just what it is. But but let's just evaluate him as far as his improvement. But it is what it is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe they'll get him the ball out of the backfield, throw it to him that way instead of just handing it off to him. We'll see how that ends up working its way out in the starting Saturday and the games ahead. But I still feel pretty good about him. All right, what about the Big Ten? I watched Michigan State play at Iowa. That was a dismal game. Cade McNamara ends up getting hurt. And, the Spartans, man, they're just down bad. I don't know how many more games on the schedule that they're going to win. It's they're in a tough spot. And, Iowa, I don't think Iowa's going to be, win the West, but who knows about the West. But, that was a brutal game to watch, especially from the Michigan State standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State, there's some good players there. They lost I thought their best defensive football player, that Wyndham kid, might be out for the year. I hate to say, I mean, he's a good player. I think they got to run their quarterback more. I just think the things we do with JJ, running him occasionally makes it difficult to defend it. They ran him a few times. Maybe they don't have any confidence in the other kid. They want where he's going to get hurt. But I think Michigan State's offensive line's pretty good. Defense, obviously Iowa's not the best offense, but that punt return killed them. So listen, Michigan State doesn't look like a great team right now, but that game will be a tough football game for us. I don't care what's going on with that team. So that's just that whole season will be wrapped around that Michigan game when we roll in there. So whatever it is that they're doing right now, everything will be focused on giving everything to beat us. That's a couple weeks down the road. But Penn State, Denny, Penn State struggled a little bit early. Listen, Northwestern's got some big dudes, but their offense is not very good. Their quarterback's not very good. But Penn State has got a big, tough, rugged front seven on defense, period. They are big, strong, tough dudes, and their offensive line is big and tough, and they got big, thick, tight ends that block. Their front seven on both sides of the ball are good. They are what they are, and we're going to, but the quarterback makes some mistakes, and he doesn't always throw an accurate pass. We're going to outplay him at that position. We're going to outplay Penn State at that position. Maryland, if Leah stays healthy, in fact, Danny, that's one of my picks. They're getting 18.5. If Leah stays healthy, I mean, they could beat a Penn State. Who knows? They're going to give Ohio State a game with that kid healthy. So they're looking good. They beat up Indiana pretty good. Indiana just they canned their offensive coordinator. He was running some different things, Coach Allen over there this year. He didn't fire the guy. He just demoted him. He moved another guy up. So I'm just kind of quickly going over the people that we play. So Indiana should be a winnable game. And then Purdue, they beat up Illinois pretty good. And the guy's a good defensive coach. I mean, he's the guy that was at Illinois last year. So, they put 44 points up. So, and then the Buckeyes had the week off. And, they are what they are. They're a tough team. I don't know what Lou Holtz is talking about. That's a tough physical football team. But the teams on our schedule, Maryland, Penn State, the Buckeyes are going to, tough games. The other games, we got to get ready, play smart, play our game, secure the ball.
Well, what Lou Holtz is talking about is why Ohio State hasn't beat Michigan for the last 2 years. They have been out toughed. They have not been able to handle the physicality of Michigan on either side of the ball. And so Lou Holtz had it right on. I mean, you could say there in Ryan Day last year, the offseason, was talking about how tough that they're focusing in on it. And, that has continued to be. You ask anybody about why Michigan was able to win those 2 games last year, it's because they don't match up well with the physicality of Michigan. You can respond to that, but I wanted to tell everybody, if they didn't see it, the Indiana game, that is going to be on Fox at noon. That was announced today as well. And Maryland, Harbaugh called J.J. McCarthy a gunslinger, which, I don't really agree with. To me, a gunslinger is more like a dangerous. He can win you a ball game. He can lose. Talia Tagovailoa, he's a gunslinger. I mean, he's going to beat somebody by going out there and slinging it all around. Hopefully it's not Michigan. Could be Ohio State. Could be Penn State. But, yeah, he's dangerous. Go ahead, Scar. And we also got a question from you from Richard.
The O-line finally gelling. I thought, we did some good things in there. We'll look at some film. We moved them. I think our offensive coaches did some good things that made us it easier for us to run some of our plays. We ran inside zone. We ran the power play. We were creative. We were all over the place. And when you throw the ball and you do the flea flicker and you run your bubble screen and you do some, you throw on first down, when you do those things and you do them successfully, different formations and motions and shifting, all of that stuff helps your run game. It helps you run your vanilla football plays. You know what I mean, Denny? When the defense is thinking about a lot of other stuff, and then you just run your basic foundational football plays and you have more success because they're thinking about other stuff. So, yes, we're gelling. Henderson's new in there. He'll get better. That was his first start. But the other 4 guys are solid, man.
All right. And Minnesota beat Louisiana. This game, Michigan should be able to go in there. Minnesota has not shown the ability to score many points. So night game, Minneapolis and everything else. But, Michigan, they opened up as a 17-point favorite, but that line has moved north of 20 now. A lot of people thinking that Wolverines jumping on there, thinking that Michigan will roll.
Yeah, Danny, just a couple quick thoughts before we get into some other things. Harbaugh talked about it at the beginning of the year. They were going to be a 50-50 run pass. Well, that ain't happening. Isn't it like 65 or something? Aren't we almost 2-1 on that? But that's okay. That's okay. But we are still throwing it more. I just got to say this. I really like how Jim talks about his assistant coach, and he talked about Big Grant being the next head coach. And he that was interesting that he thought he would probably be the next offensive coordinator if Sharon Moore gets a job. So that was interesting to see. Really quickly, my power rankings. I'm going to give you my power rankings.
Oh.
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, all three are right there number one. But I think JJ is the difference slightly in those three teams. So I'm going to rank them all as the top three. I've got Maryland. I got the same. My picks were the same as Nelson Hubble had on his site there. But I got Maryland slightly above Wisconsin. Those two teams are 4 and 5, and then I got everybody else is the same. Minnesota, Michigan State, Purdue, all those guys. I got them as the same. I think the big three stand out, and then I think Maryland and Wisconsin are 4 and 5, and then the rest of them you can throw them all in the same barrel.
That sounds. I don't have any disagreements. I hadn't thought about ranking the bottom 5, but those first 5, I'm right with you on that when it comes down to it. So one thing that Harbaugh said today, it was a lot of talk in the offseason, and then in the first couple of games, Miles Hinton is working through something. I think it's an ankle injury. And while Ladarius Henderson played well, Harbaugh was talking about the possibility of, putting, rotating guys in there. He said, he's got to get Trente Jones in there more. And we know that there's something with Hinton. He said Mike Elston, Braden McGregor said this today, they brought in where they're able to rotate and they spot a guy and get him in there to kind of slow. And Harbaugh was saying the possibility about doing that with his offensive line and with different.
Danny, listen, man.
You sound like you have been a proponent of that. So
yeah, when I played, many teams they used guards to signal in the plays. Coach DiOrio will be on Friday. He'll tell you how that is. I think early in his career, he was one of those guys that used to run in plays. So I got absolutely no problem with it. As long as you work together, you work together in practice and the communication, you get a feel for what this guy, how he communicates, and you rep it enough. Some of that stuff is overrated, and and some of them young guys that went in later on did a pretty good job. I'm real big on Gentry. He looks pretty good, and I'd like to see Gio get more reps at guard. I'd like to see them rotate him in. I'd like to see him rotate our third guard in with those two big studs, but they don't do it. I'd like to see Gio get in there. Not just in mop-up time. So
I hear you. Before we get to the film, I want to tell everyone that is out there, and you're thinking, you just want more Michigan coverage. You want accurate Michigan coverage. You want all Michigan all the time. Well, here's the answer for you. You join the Maize and Blue Review today. You go to michigan.rivals.com, recruiting, transfer portal, feature story. It's all there. Michigan conversation ongoing. There's always some kind of a thread on there, and it always comes back to, you work the Michigan angle in there. We say, give us a chance. We think you'll like what you see when it comes down to it. All right. Scar, if you had a vote in the top 25, they said, we want Jim Scarcelli, who would be your top 3 or 4 or 5 teams? Where would you put Michigan?
Oh, boy. It's so overrated at this time of the year, but God, Washington looks good. USC's offense, that kid's the real deal. I don't know if they got the defense. Michigan is solid in all three phases. Georgia, maybe South Carolina's a decent team. They got a tough one this week with Kentucky. SEC's no joke. Texas looks good. That Texas-Oklahoma game is going to find out a lot. It's just so hard.
The thing, it is hard. And what you do is, do you go? What is really hard is picking the teams that are just bowling over everyone, whether it's their fault or not. So what I do is when I see teams play games against a team that they could lose to, or they're playing another way, say top 25 or top 5. That's why if I was voting, my number 1 team would be Florida State. My number 2 team would be Texas. They went to Alabama and won that game. Florida State beat LSU and they went to Clemson. Florida State should be the number 1 team. Anybody that's not voting for Florida State really doesn't know what they're doing there. It's an embarrassment. But those should be the top 2 teams. Florida State and Texas. I would put Ohio State at number 3 based on them going to South Bend and beating Notre Dame. I would put Georgia there at 4. They've been the number 1 team. They remain the number 1 team. They're there. They've been winning their ball games. They went on the road and they beat Auburn. So those would be my top 4. I'd have Michigan at number 5. And it's not really anything against Michigan. They haven't been able to play one of those teams that is in the top 25 or been on the road and played a really tough team to be able to put them up there. Now, when they get to the last 3 games of the year, they go to Maryland, they go to Penn State, and then if they beat Ohio State, Michigan will then rise up those rankings, and I could put them at number 1, maybe number 2.
I hear you. That's why those preseason rankings so far sometimes, Denny, are like, come on, man. Who cares about August?
Well, everybody cares all the time, Scar. You say that, and that's what I hear everybody say.
I know, but you
know what happens the day after the national championship game? All of college football wants more. They want more. They can't wait till the next season. And so one of the most popular stories that gets put out there, they want to consume everything with college football. Every writer and broadcaster out there goes with a way too early top 25. Not in the summer, not preseason. The day after the national championship, they draw up and say, hey, this is a way too early top 25. And so they put it out there, and then you're able to guide through and use it for entertainment. But my biggest thing is that these guys that are the writers and everything else, they don't put it out. I know they watch it, but just putting teams up at the top and then not putting teams that have big time victories and not moving them up. I just wish they would be more fluid. And
Danny, you think about your your philosophy is you downplay the importance of the preseason rankings because you just put Florida State above Michigan. Because
not really. I just want to. I'm going to go with as the season unfolds. Sure, you can have a top 25, but oh my God, if Georgia doesn't play their first 3 games, they don't play anybody, and and I have a team in Florida State. Well, they've showed me more. I'm going to put Florida State in front of them.
No, I get it, but I guess they're just hanging on with those guys because of what they've done in the past. Michigan, Georgia, what they've done last year, and they're giving validity. And they're giving strength based on what they did last year. And those people are all back. They're, the Michigan has a lot of people back. So, I think that's why I understand your point. And Florida State definitely has 2 big wins. But, we got plenty of teams on our schedule as long as we keep winning to get us where we need to be. So
that's right. That's the part. If you're a Michigan fan, you don't have to worry about they'll be there. That's the thing. Just keep winning the ball games.
Let's just keep winning one at a time, baby. Let's win one practice at a time. One film. That's what I used to tell my team. And Coach Schembechler told, let's win today, man. Let's be great in the film session. Let's be great in practice today. Let's win today. Forget about what's going to happen a month from now. Let's win today. Let's be great today.
Yeah,
get a good all the little things.
OT, I would just want you to be a little bit flexible because, you can call me crazy. That's okay. But, LSU, what they bring to the table offensively is pretty good. Going to Death Valley, they're playing at Clemson. That's a tough place to play. So that's part of it. But saying just Michigan would destroy them, they might. But I would just say, where you say, I don't think you get ranked on who you play, it's how you play. Sure, it is how you play. Let's go with how you play, but let's also think about who you play. That's all I'm asking you to do. That's all. But I know, like, if you're a Michigan fan and you're just like Michigan, like there were a lot of people like Michigan should be number one. Like, and they probably would have been number one if Georgia would have lost. That people just would have voted number one. But if you're, it's okay to look at other teams that have gone out and played tougher opponents to put them in front of them. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. I don't know if you think I'm a bad person or it's take it all in. Give your opinion on it. And I get people that just want to just automatically click Michigan and always go Michigan, 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 Michigan on everything. It's there's something to be said about that. You just got the maize and blue spots all the time in front of your eyes. You don't care. Let's just put Michigan number one because they're the best team in the country. They might be the best team in the country at the end. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, Denny, I kept it real with my power ratings. I said Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Those are going to be those games are three, brutally close football games. Great athletes all over the place. But like I said, I think our quarterback is a slight difference there, but hard to pick. You can't pick those games right now. Let's just let's win today, man.
Yeah, Trevor says I'm picking a team with a loss. No, I'm not. Florida State has not lost. They've won all of their games. Texas is 5-0. They have not lost. Those would be my top two teams. And Notre Dame, they have not lost. I mean, Ohio State, they haven't lost yet. They beat Notre Dame. They're undefeated. So is Georgia. All of the teams that I mentioned in my top five, they're all undefeated. So that's it. And yeah, Trevor, it's good. This is a Michigan show. If you want people to sit around and bathe Michigan, there are, I think almost every Michigan show that's out there does it. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. Nobody likes Michigan actually more than me, but I'm just telling you how it should be done. If you want people just sit around and just always play the Michigan, and people like that, I have to admit, that's it's a strategy that, put a big homer on there and just honk the horn all the time for Michigan. Michigan should be number one. Do you want me to say what I really believe, or do you just always want me to just say Michigan's great and let's just always just pick Michigan with everything? I'm asking you, Trevor. Don't watch the show anymore if you want it. If you want, go. Go listen to somebody who just is always going to give you that Michigan. That Michigan slant. And I would say, I don't know. I haven't judged all the shows, but that's what they seem like they all do. So go after it. Go get it, Trevor. All right, Scar, what's next?
Let's look at some film, Big D.
All right, let's do it.
Are we up and rolling?
We are. Let me just say this before we get through it, and that is that this is brought to you by Quick Cut Video and Analytics. We thank Quick Cut for it as we go through it all. So thank you very much. All right, now we're ready.
Yeah, Danny, I can't see my markers here. I can't see you got to move something. There we go. There we go. Let's see what's happening here. I'm stuck for some reason.
All right. Well, hey,
what the heck is...
How about we try to do this? And how about you just
yeah, let me play with it here.
Out of it, yeah, mess around. I'll read some of the feedback here. I'm sure that there's a lot of ones that are saying, "Hey, Dennis, you're spot on. You're doing a great job." Trevor indicating that maybe I'm on something. Scott is he got Texas and Georgia. He's got USC number 3 in Ohio State, Michigan at number 5. So
yeah, we're rolling now, Danny. We're up and rolling. So whenever you're ready to come back.
Yeah, well, that was pretty quick, Scar. Here we go.
Just had to give it a refresh. And it's like me. We're old. We need a refresh sometimes. Man.
All right.
I'm an old guy. Here we go. We motion a receiver in here now. And I just, I kind of understand why they bring a receiver in because it's the personnel that's in the game. But I'm wondering why wouldn't you bring a tight end in here? But that changes the personnel Nebraska would have in a game. It's 3rd and 3. This defensive tackle, we talked about this kid in scouting. He does a great job here. We don't get him moved. He does a great job. But I guess my point was I'm looking at this receiver up here getting crushed by this big defensive tackle. So they get a stop there. Okay, that was 3rd and 3. So my point was, why do we bring a receiver in?
Why is Roman Wilson blocking a 300-pound defensive
end? It's not Roman's fault. It's just I think maybe they want to keep the personnel in there, so so they don't get the change. But now here we go. So we didn't have a great seal by our receiver there, but now we get a great seal. This whole line, watch them all hip to hip, Denny. There's no penetration on this, and this is a 4th down conversion here. But what you really want to see. We're getting this center we got. This kid is something, but this kid is low. I don't know if he's a former wrestler, but we get great movement here. Zinter in our center, but it's a real tight seal on this backside here. No penetration, moving him out of there. Beautiful. So we do a great job in short yardage so far, man. I just wanted to show the end of this clip. I'm going to leave some stuff for Jerry on Friday, but what a catch. They'll be talking about this catch, Denny, for 20 years, man. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not a great throw. It's an unbelievable athletic catch to do this. I mean, that is incredible. Just wanted to show it. That's all Roman Wilson. And that's just, can you coach that? I don't know. That's recruiting, man. Here we go. Big play by the big fella, KG. Coach Harbaugh calls him KG. I like this because you got the guys that are blocking passes. Big McGregor and KG, they've knocked down a lot of passes. McGregor 6'6", Grant 6'5", 6'6", and this stuff is coached up. And 2nd and 9, McGregor gets his hand up. But just looking at Grant, man, I'm trying to figure out how he knew the ball was blocked. Did he hear it out there? Is he seeing it? And then he comes with the over-the-shoulder catch, Danny. Look at it, over the shoulder. Willie Mays.
Well, sometimes you see he caught that in traffic too. Like the ball was popped pretty high in the air. It didn't just fall right in his hands. You're right. He had to go with the Willie Mays and then
over the shoulder, and he secures the ball.
He had guys smashing all around at him, coming at him. So to be able to hang on to that was a hell of a play.
We work on this as coaches. We do, I did it as a player. Coach Mueller had defensive linemen. We did a thing called the perfect play when we used to work on guys catching the ball, and that stuff is worked on. I worked on it a lot, and then you got to, you have to teach the guy how to secure a football, because how many times have we seen big fellas intercept the ball, linebackers, and they get the ball stripped from them because they don't know how to secure it. So anyway, I worked Michigan's camp many years with Coach Jackson. He always talked that we can work on vision a little bit, but some of the great ones just have it. They see the hole, especially if you're going to run zone. Okay, we run zone, inside, outside zone. And this is where this is number 20 here, man. This kid is doing some good things. And they always talk about, Denny, with running backs is pressing the hole. Press the hole. Press the hole. And you see him, he challenges the hole, and then he bounces it. And the other view is a little better here. But this kid has great vision. We'll take a look at it from an end zone here and just watch how he reads this thing. He attacks the hole here, bounces it, reads it, cuts. Just a great job. So, yeah, we got 3 running backs, man, and he'll put his shoulder pads down. But he's got real good vision. That's what the point I want to make there. Here's 2nd and 9. We got to do a better job dropping here. We're rushing 3, 2nd and 9. I'm not real happy with this drop by Stewart here. He's got to defend the flat. I know that's how they're coaching it. You already got a linebacker in the curl here. We've got him here sitting in the curl, so he should be out here more.
It's a lot
So
to ask for.
yeah, we got to get more depth there. And now this guy here has got to be more insane. We did more dropping of our edge players than we have in these last 2 games. I think that's a little change for Minter this year, at least so far in these 2 Big Ten games, is, we're dropping our edge players more. So he's dropping more. I'd like to see him work more inside in that slant. We saw that last week with Braden McGregor, right, Denny, on the big run.
Yeah.
If you're a slant player, I just think they should be more dropping back inside more.
Well, I'm sure that as they look at these plays, that's.
Oh yeah, they're going to coach all that up. They work on it in practice. I don't know how they're coaching it, but I would think they'd want them. Let's look here, Denny. This is jet sweep. Okay, what's the down and distance? 3rd and 4. Remember this now. It's 3rd and 4, and they're running jet sweep up here to Harrell. 32. He takes on the tight end. He punches. He comes off. He makes a hell of a play. Okay, and look at the safety support. I think this is Saab, number 3, right?
Saab. Saab.
Saab. Look at the great job, both of those 2. Okay, they ran jet sweep. We get a good spot by the official. But we still got a chance, man, because they did a great job. It's not converted. It's 4th and 1. It's 4th and 1. And watch these 2 big fellas here, 94 and 78. They make this play. Okay, it's 4th and 1. The announcer calls off McGregor. Okay, but these 2 dudes are the one that stuff right here at the point of attack. Okay, they're stuffing this. So we're going to let it run. And you really can't see them in here. There was a different view. You really can't see the job those 2 guys are doing, but they are taking that guard and center and they are launching them. They are stuffing them. And everything else is happening because of those 2 guys. So, the guy that makes the play isn't always the guy that makes the play. You follow that, Denny?
Yeah.
So the guy who got their name called off, it was not the guys who made the play. So here we go. I like this. This is why number 7's in the game. He gives you problems. Okay, 3rd and 7, and all the people down on Donovan. You got to remember this. This is now a problem for the defense, because if I'm defending Michigan 3rd and 7, okay, I got run threat with Donovan. Okay, they could run the ball over here, wherever, but I got all kinds of pass threats that I got to be concerned with. So I got to be concerned with my matchup with number 7. Always. Who's covering number 7 if I'm in man coverage? Okay, so 89 is in the game. We got 1 back in 3rd and 7. And I like it that we're throwing the ball to 89. This kid's doing a good job as a blocker. And the more of a pass threat he becomes, the more difficult we become to defend. So he's a great pickup from Indiana, former captain. Great job there. Let's go to the next play. Where am I at here? Let's move on. Oh, this is
touchdown.
This is people are going to yell at the Nebraska coach. Okay, but you do things like this sometimes. Okay, so he's in man coverage. He's in 0 coverage is what he's in. He's got no safety help. It's 2nd and 1, and Michigan's throwing the football 14-0. And the defense is just bringing a bunch of dudes over here to this side of the field. There's no one in the middle of the field. This is 0 coverage, Danny. Nothing in the middle of the field. So it's the weakness of the defense. Coach Rule knows it. He understands it. Okay, but they're bringing pressure. They're bringing 4 guys from this side. And sometimes a defensive coach will do that. Okay, you'll overshift. They got 3 guys right here, and they got nothing over here. They just got an outside contained guy. So they're trying to overload our left side. And I understand it schematically. I like to always overload. If I'm going to overload, I want to do it to the side of the hand of the quarterback. If he's a right-handed quarterback, I'd rather do it here because they always want to flush to that side. You follow me?
Sure.
But anyway, they got nothing there. JJ feels it, sees it. They're all off in coverage, and it's It's the weakness of the defense. JJ sniffed it out and touchdown. So it's a great deal there. We're rushing 4 guys here, and we get pressure. And anytime you get the quarterback to step up, get outside, that's pressure. That's a good job by the 4 guys rushing. We got them to step up in the pocket. Now, this is the stuff I always talk about. Let's run it. Okay, and these are the things coaches always look at. This is Michael Barrett right here. Okay, you tell me who's breaking the fastest on the football. This is Johnson over here. Look at the breaks. Look, where's Barrett? He's still here. Johnson's still here. Get here. Coaches are coaching all this up. They're telling Hausman, get here. Let's meet him right here. Let's not meet the guy back here. So that's a hell of a job by Barrett. Johnson's got to read and recognize that a little sooner. You see that, Denny?
Yeah, Barrett's a big hitter. He had the right leverage on there, turning him over.
Yeah, you got to get the other guy meeting him right there. They got to be on the same level. All right, 3rd and 5. We're confused here, Denny. We're confused. This was the only time in this game we were confused. We haven't been confused too many times this year. But let's take it from the beginning. Watch this linebacker. He doesn't know where we're lined up, and they're an empty. Are they an empty? Yeah, they're an empty, and this linebacker doesn't know. They're all screwed up here, and I don't know if that had something to do with that slant route getting being open. But again, we get back to this same stuff here, man. I'd like to see these guys get in here. They keep hitting us with slants. I think we're getting too wide on our drop with those edge players. But we're confused on defense. I didn't like it. It's one of the only times this year that we've been confused. 1st and 10. I like the block from our tight ends and our tackles up here. And I like the JJ carrying out this fake. All this stuff widens the defense. It widens the defense. The better fake we get from JJ. You see, you get those guys reacting, Danny. You get those perimeter guys. They're going to be slow to get back here on Corum. But good blocking up front there. Barnhart and Barner on that side. This is a touchdown. This is 1st and 10. Now we're throwing the football on 1st and 10. They're in a 3-man front. 1st and 10. And this is Big Henderson here. And we're going to break it down. So the guy takes an inside go on him, Denny. He takes an inside go.
Beat him.
Now we had this happen against Ohio State. Remember where Big Hayes pinned that guy in and we got outside the defense. So, I'd like to see Henderson pin this guy in so JJ's not running for his life so he can just kind of stroll out here. You know what I mean? And set his feet up. But Henderson gets beat and he's, Henderson's got to do a little better job there. If a guy's going to take an inside go, we got to pin him in. We want our court. They want to let JJ get outside the defense. Let JJ get out here and set his feet and make this throw a lot easier. But this is a hell of a throw. Nice catch. Roman keeps moving. That's just. But I'd like to see our tackle pin that guy in.
That's a hell of a play.
Yeah, great play. Great play. Yeah, here's the first play of the second half. Now, I talked about this after the game that we ran a lot more 3-4 in this game than we have all year, meaning 2 edge players, 2 edge guys, and then 3 defensive linemen. And this is how we started. We go with Jenkins, Grant, and Benny. So this is how we ran this personnel a lot against Nebraska. And this is the very first play of the second half, and it's not a very good one. And they fake the run in there, and then they throw a post here. Our safety's got to take a better angle. It's the same kind of thing we had the first game or last year against Rutgers. Remember, Denny? That safety's got to recognize it, and he's got to get left shoulder on this kid. Get left shoulder. And he override. You got to react quicker. So it is what it is. We get good pursuit over here. We get the guy down, and too much for the first play of the game. Okay, here's some bad protection on our offensive line. It's 3rd and 10. We got number 7 in the game. And I think this is a great job by our tight end. This good, knowing what the defense is. Okay, they're in zone coverage, and you got to read it. You know, Denny, when I played, you remember Hayden Fry? He used to have the tight end stand up in a 2-point stance.
Yeah.
And if you remember that, but his rash thinking was that they could see the coverage better. So that's why he had them up in a 2-point, not with their hand on the ground. But anyway, Loveland sees the middle he sees this zone here, right in here, and he's going to find it, and he's not going to drift out of there. But I always wonder what impact 7 has on the defense whenever he's in the game. And we don't do a good job blocking this thing up on this side. They do a little stunt. I think that's on Zinter there, our right guard. They got to, again, people are going to say, is this communication? They haven't played enough, but that's Barnhart out there. These guys got to communicate this little stunt they're doing here. So we don't get it blocked, but I like our tight end, find it, get it, and get that first down. He knows where the first down is, and he does a great job securing the football. I don't think we've had him drop the ball, have we? Since he's been a player at Michigan. I don't think that's happened. Counter Trey, away from 77 and 73. I think the kid's got good feet, Henderson. So this is something that maybe he can do. Maybe he can do it a little better than Hinton. But they run it here. We good blocking on the play side. We kick out, and then Henderson leads through on the backer. We get a nice pickup in there. So I'm looking at his feet. I'm looking at Henderson's feet, and that this could be something here. Anyway, it's a pickup of a first down, and that's the counter Trey pulling the backside guard and tackle. This is any comments on anything, Denny? I know I'm going fast here.
I'm following along. Harbaugh said today that Coastal Loveland's drawn a lot of double teams.
Okay, I said it Saturday night that I think that's why they're using him as a decoy, and that's a good thing, man. That's I'd like to see Stewart take a better. You got to feel this a little better. You got to feel that back. You can't let him pin you in. I'd like to see him before he engages this thing, punch with a little more outside shoulder on this back. Because you keep that ball inside the defense, that quarterback's not running around out there. And that's, anything can happen when you let the quarterback outside. So, it's okay, but he does a better job later. He gets a sack.
Yeah, he was named, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week? I have to take a look and see exactly. I think that's what he was named.
All right, here's our boy. You know what this stands for, Denny?
EUTM. No.
Enthusiasm, unknown to mankind. I just thought I'd put that out there. I love it. You want to talk about why people practice hard every day? Well, because that starts from the top. Great job by our quarterback here. What's the down and distance? 3rd and 9. Oh, no. You know what that is? This is Tuttle. Tuttle's in the game. This was why I was real happy. The ball's thrown a little bit behind him. Could have been caught, but, with more reps. But I thought Tuttle went in there and did some things, man. He can run around. He's got good feet. Ball should have been caught. He had 2 hands on it.
We call that the Hoosier hookup. That's
right. And here he is throwing this pass here. Here's Tuttle again. So I like that. That's an accurate pass. He looked, he looked good. If something happens in East Lansing or in Minneapolis, do we have faith in this kid? I don't like number 7's block here. I got the quarterback circled, but watch the running back. I don't like he's just getting run over. And this is Tuttle running outside the defense. So this is good. This shows athleticism. And this is what I want in our quarterback. I want a guy that is athletic and smart. If it's not there, throw the thing in the 3rd row. So anyway,
it's not a bad work you have to do there. Sit down, be in more of a stance to get ready to take on that block.
Denny, listen, man. Jamie Moore, some of the guys, they weren't the biggest dudes, but you just got to have good technique, man.
Yeah, they didn't have.
You gotta get lower, step up. Coach Burton used to talk about coming up here and closing the distance. Get up in there and meet them as close to the line of scrimmage as possible, get down in a good low football position and punch and meet them. But Donovan's not the biggest kid, man. But he's high. His technique is not good. He's too high there. He's got to get lower.
Okay.
But again, that's a 300-pound defensive lineman, so it's hard. But anyway, our kicker was good. He made all his extra points. Field goal on the road.
Yeah.
So that's all good stuff. Got about 5 more plays. I love all this stuff, Denny. It all stands for different. How about this one? TED. TED
Talk. What's it stand?
He's got TED. That means there every day.
Okay.
So I got here's what I got. I got 365 motivate, right? So when you're a coach, Danny, you are motivating 365 days a year. You don't just have, what are you going to do in February? So this stuff is promoting, weight room stuff. It's promoting academic stuff. It's promoting, are you there every day type stuff, That's what that is, TED. But I like all this stuff that Jim is incorporated, year-round stuff to motivate his guys, and they're getting rewarded for it. And another good thing with this stuff, Denny, is a kid that doesn't play or hasn't played much, he's going to have stickers on his helmet. Because when I played, the only way you could get a sticker was from a game performance. Anyway, feel the QB. I've got our guy circled here. You got to feel the QB. See, he's rushing in there, man. You got to feel the QB as you're engaging this tackle. So, Denny, I played here. You're taking him on, but you got to feel where the quarterback is. You're feeling this whole picture here. And he's taking on this guy, and we're letting the ball outside. So I don't know. I don't know how the hell I just know how I coached it and how I played it. Try to feel that quarterback. Feel him. Now we let him outside, and now he can throw that and convert the first down. And we can be better.
Josiah Stewart did earn co-defensive player of the week this week. So
good. He's a good pickup. Here we are, 3rd and 10. We got 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to drop a couple edge guys, and it's just good stuff. A lot more dropping to the edge players these last couple weeks. A lot more dropping. And that's hard, Danny, when you're a 265-pound kid. McGregor's 265 and more. I don't know. He's probably 250-pound kid. So, they play bigger bodies at those positions than when I played, but we did more dropping, and they're asking these guys to drop more now. So here's Stewart coming off the edge, beats the tackle, keeps the quarterback inside the defense. The last place quarterbacks want to do if they get pressure is step up in the pocket when all these big ugly dudes are. They'd rather run outside.
Yeah.
They don't want to step up in the pocket. So,
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. So Stewart beats this guy. He forces him to step up in the pocket. He's got outside leverage, and you don't want to do that. And he doubles back and makes a play. That's a great job by Stewart.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So here we got, I like this kid now in here, Donegal. This is the big kid. I like this play. Big, tall kid. I stood next to this kid at practice. He's every bit of 6'5". Nothing there. He runs up in there and he puts his shoulder pad down and runs this linebacker over.
It's like Josh Allen.
Yeah, I like guys that are accurate, smart, tough, athletic. And you look at it, he ain't afraid to. He ain't sliding.
No,
he ain't sliding like a lot of these guys. So I like that.
And he can throw the ball too. We've seen that.
Yeah, he had a touchdown pass in there. So this is the touchdown. Young guys in here. These guys are way too high, 74, 95, way too high. And they're getting knocked out of there. And Denny, reason I kept telling you that, and Coach Minder says the same thing. He says these inside guys are the tip of the spear, meaning our 1 and 3 technique. You can't have movement here because if these guys get knocked back, okay, they get knocked back, Linebackers can't flow. A linebacker can't flow around if he's got these big 3 techniques in his face. So this guy's got to take a better angle. This guy gets caught in this, because these guys are getting knocked out of here so much, this linebacker can't really fly around. He steps up, and now he's got, look at all that wash he has to get around. You see where he is, Denny? See, look at this linebacker. He takes him just a couple steps out of the way, and then you got all this push over here. And now he has to go around this pile. And it's just not good. And the safety reacts just a second too late. He's got to react sooner. Touchdown. So that's not good. Those young guys want to get reps. They want to play. And it's frustrating. But they need the reps. You got to play. I'd rather have those guys play than a shutout if I'm coaching. I'll tell you that right now. They need to play. This guy's a good coach. He's just got to recruit. This guy's a hell of a coach. He built Temple. He won at Baylor. So here's the last play I got. Okay, here's a young guy in there. Keep contained, man. Don't let this guy run around. But all these reps, they matter big time, Danny. They matter big time. And, sometimes you're upset as a coach that this guy's doing this down 45-7, but you get to work on this stuff with your team. You get to work on, Hail Mary type stuff with your secondary. Yeah. And so I'd actually be happy if this coach did this to me.
Yeah, I don't think Harbaugh's mad.
No, because you're working on all this stuff over here, this jump ball type stuff. So good stuff. Big win, healthy. Second quarterback looks good. Michigan fans were mad about getting the shot. It's more important to get it. Antoine, you're absolutely right, man. I'll take the reps. I want those reps for them young guys. I want those guys confident. Let's get them better. Is it affecting our ratings? Who cares, man? Let those guys get reps so they're more confident if they get thrown into a football game where they have to win, where their performance is a factor on whether we win or not. So, I was that guy back in the day that got 2 or 3 reps in a game, and it matters big time. 1 game rep, Denny, is worth 50 scrimmage reps.
Wow.
It's just magnified, man. It just matters. And it's just my opinion as a former player. I just think game reps are huge to get in that game on the road. And even if you weren't good, it's a rep, and you're going to learn from it a hell of a lot more than you will in scrimmages.
Thanks to Quick Cut for the video and analytics with Scar on the telestrator. Great job there. And hey, you know what? Michigan, I get people saying, look, Michigan looks great. They were this close, to having that number 1. And I've got a friend. He's a younger guy, big Michigan fan. And he said he just wants to see that number 1 next to Michigan. He wanted to see it, with Georgia in the fourth quarter. And then I said, yeah, well, you want to see it at the end of the year. He said, yeah, I just want to see it at the end of the year. But I wouldn't have minded seeing it this week, having that number.
Yeah, but, Denny, let's say we go to Penn State and, wherever the hell we're ranked, and we lose a couple defensive linemen. And now these guys that got these reps help us win a game at Penn State. Who are you going to care about the shutout that we didn't have at Nebraska? No, but you're going to want that kid. I was that guy that you need to have confidence. You need to have reps that you go into the game. You're not running down your leg, man. You got it. You ain't pissing down your leg. I got some winners. I had a winner last week. We're done playing around, Denny. Oregon State, I said they're a good football team. And Utah doesn't have a quarterback, and Oregon State won that game. I like Maryland with 18.5. Okay. And I like Rutgers getting 14 at Wisconsin. I think that's going to be a good game. But my pick is Boston College getting 3.5 against Army. That's my pick. What is a plane flight home after? It's just great. It's just happy people, and we're not passing the bottles around and that kind of thing. That stuff doesn't happen. But it's a great thing. I tell you, one of the most enjoyable trips I'll never forget was my last time we beat Michigan State, because that's a bus ride, 40-minute bus ride, whatever. But I'll never forget that bus ride from Michigan State. Those are just great memories, and people are happy and fired. And all them bumps and bruises that you feel, they go away when you get on that plane, you get on that bus, and people are happy and fired up. They don't hurt as much.
What's a Saturday night in Ann Arbor like after a victory?
Oh man, some of that stuff I can't talk about, Danny. But we had a lot of fun, man. And that I've said this. This is one of the things that bothers me. I think a team should only have to play one road night game a year and maximum one home night game a year. Period. Okay, we had one at home with Bowling Green. Now we're going to Minnesota at night. When you're a football player, you get one night a week to go out and do something. Friday night, you're in the hotel. You can't do nothing. To go out and be a student and enjoy college life, man. Go to a frat party or go wherever, man. Do some things with your friends. You get one night a week to do it. And if you're playing at Minnesota, you're not getting back to Ann Arbor till 3 a.m. So, how much fun is that? Everybody's asleep and you got the big win, but what can you do? So I've said it and I'll say it again. I wish they had a limit. One road game, one home game for everybody in the Big Ten.
It makes
night
sense.
Night games.
It makes sense to me. I like where you're at. All right, great job. Always great talking with you.
All right, man. Go Blue. Coach DiOrio will break down Minnesota Friday. I didn't cover it much, but their run game is not as tough as it's been. Passer is good and better. Dangerous place, but we secure the ball like we've been. We keep rolling. Go Blue.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for those 5-star ratings on the podcast. Always hit that thumbs up on the YouTube. We enjoy that. We'll talk with you on Wednesday.